Well, the word out at the moment after last night's elections, which brought in Ivan Duque, 51% of the vote, so on, the word out there is that Ivan Duque is going to end these peace dialogues with the ELN, with the National Liberation Army. I mean, the idea that he has is to enforce further conditions upon this guerrilla group, but they're unlikely to adhere to these conditions. The conditions such as they all mobilize to one area to demilitarize and to disarm. And of course, this won't happen. This group is not interested in that. Each front of the ELM is rather autonomous of the other front. So it will be very difficult for them to agree on something like this. So we can expect, I think, the peace talks to be thrown out.
And Duque has said, well, before the election, he said that he will destroy the agreement with the FARC. And then he said he will amend it. And it's been a difficult issue for a lot of candidates and politicians in Colombia. What do you think will happen with the implementation process of the agreement, which is one of the most important parts?
Yes, Ivan Duque in the early days of the elections had said he would shred the peace accord. Of course, the peace accord which was signed in 2016 with the FARC guerrillas and the government of Juan Manuel Santos, bringing to an end more than 50-odd years of conflict. He said he'd shred it, but in recent weeks leading up to the runoff of the elections, which happened on Sunday night, he softened his tone, saying that he wants to revisit and restructure certain parts of it. What he said in his opening speech as president-elect is that he wants the peace accord to address the victims and the victims' rights. I don't think he can possibly tear up the peace accord like he once threatened. What he'll do is he'll starve it. He won't act so fast on it, maybe not pay certain sectors of it, which will have the same effect. It will run it into the ground, but he could then say that he's done everything in his power to keep it alive. But at the same time, it's a very tough and tricky moment for Colombia.